Live from the studio of Visor. It goes way back, August 1945, where the A-bomb struck Hiroshima. You know, when a company goes through such a crisis like this and survive, they have a word Japan in Hiroshima. They call it the Mukai Nada spirit, which is translated intelligent spirit. It's also about passion. It's about that there's nothing we can't do. Some examples are that the Japanese brand is the first that has won the Le Mans 24 Hours in 1991. And also things like creating MX-5, which defies business case and made it successful, make the Rotary engine work, put it into a sports car and made it work where everybody's given up. And then the Skyactiv of today. So that's what makes Mazda unique. Three things for me quite distinctively. The engineering. The company is run by engineers. They live and breathe engineering. That means they try to create solutions, makes the car feels better, drives better, and you can only do that through engineering. Plus, they have the combination of a really strong design leadership. And it's not surprising that we go through year after year of having winning design awards at the global stage level, like World Car Design, Car of the Year design level. And it's become quite synonymous with Mazda, with winning design. And lastly, because of the engineering, the products are very safe. User safety is one of the key pillars of Mazda. When you have quality and craftsmanship and engineering, you can only have a product that's very safe to drive. And we're not really talking always about how many airbags you have and how many ABS system. It's just the basic engineering design systems protects the occupant and the driver because the car is so easy to control. When a car is easy to control and it has good illumination and plus a safety feature, it becomes a very safe car. That's like asking who are my favorite child, right? But I would have to say from a being courageous and challenging is that the MX-5 is, to me, the most amazing decision they've ever made in the phase where all the roadster, they were all gone because they just simply couldn't make the business case. The demographic changes, people became bigger, there were families in, so there was no more place for a roadster. And then Mazda says, yeah, wait, hang on, there is a space for roadster. So MX-5 became now, according to Guinness, the best-selling roadster two-door convertible in the world. More than like 1.4 million by now. So it's a resounding success in the phase where nobody wants to do it anymore. And even today, it'd be hard to find a well-engineered, affordable roadster in the category that you can buy and provide joy to so many people. So to me, the MX-5 is not a best car, but the best decision that Mazda has ever made. The correct answer is that Mazda has not stopped working on the rotary engine, even when the RX-8 has stopped production. It will come back, but it will not come back in a way that we assume that it will be in a four-rotor turbo. I believe the news is out that the rotary engine will come back as a range extender. It's not going to power the vehicle directly. It's not a propulsion thing, but it will help extend the range of, let's say, an electrical vehicle. So I think that's a wonderful thing to have. I think not in the near future, and that's not because the country or the consumer is not deserving it. Internal combustion engine has been with us for more than 100 years. I think it's reached its peak now, but Mazda has taken it one step further and says we can get much more out from the fuel that we use. We're only getting 30%, so why can't we get 60%? Why can't we get 80% of the fuel? And that's why Skyactiv X does. But Skyactiv requires very, very clean fuel. Euro 6 is the minimum, means that there is zero sulfur, and that fuel is not easily available in the Philippines. And there is no regulation that demands it. Like in Europe, there are regulations, and so Skyactiv X is in Europe and in some other countries that requires ultra low emission. That's where Skyactiv X is. Lots of people like manual transmission. I can't get away from manual transmission. But I think the large-scale manual transmission application for cars, including Mazda, the era of that is probably over. But there's still going to be application for manual transmission, like MX-5 and some of them will car. But I think sedan cars typically will move over to more other transmission technology. Mazda has made these conventional 6-speed automatic transmission even better. In my opinion, when I drive something like this, it's better than a dual clutch, it's better than a CVT. And so Mazda took that combination and says, we are going to be better than dual clutch, better than CVT, let's improve that. So they made an automatic is so good that you almost don't need to have a manual transmission to enjoy driving the car. But there's some joy in driving a MX-5, the short shift. So that's not going to go away. These are questions that I can't answer because they are within our future product cycle. So keep an eye for that. It will be good when it comes. Oh, absolutely. The MX-5, or lovingly called the Miata, or the Roadster in Japan, will continue. I will bet my life savings that it will continue for a very long time. It's just getting stronger and stronger. In a sea of almost similar products, the MX-5 stand out as something that provides joy and happiness around the world. Very much like a motorcycle, actually. It's like a motorcycle on 4 wheels. Personally, I like very much to have a restoration program here. It's becoming more and more like a lot of people like the Miata, especially the first generation. We call it the NA. As time passed, the NA is essentially between 25 years old and 30 years old. So it requires restoration program. So yes, of course, I like the restoration program, but it's not as simple as it seems. It's not just putting some new parts together. And also from a valuation perspective, a model that is from the past has to reach a certain value before people start to value the restoration. I don't think NA has reached that yet here. In Japan, it has. There are restoration programs in Japan that if you were to put restoration in it, it'll cost you more than buying a new car. But you will get a piece of history. I don't think we've got there yet. If that happens, I hope if a third party comes around to do that, as Mazda Philippines, I would very much like to support that restoration program. But we won't do it by ourselves. Lots of people want that, and I can understand it. I mean, I want that one myself. It's a Mazda 3 all-wheel drive. What's not to like about it? But so far, it's only been approved for the US market. There are business reasons, company reasons I'm not privy to that says, like right now, they're just going to let it be in the US market. I hope someday it'll come here, but I don't see it to be soon. I hope it does. One thing that I also like to talk about is the Mazda diesel engine and the diesel system. Not all diesel engines are designed, developed the same way from engineering. The Mazda diesel engine, or the 2.2 that we installed in the CX-5 and the Mazda 6, is technically as good as some in the premium European brand, like for example the BMW 3D. Very strong, very powerful, light, very fuel efficient. But that also means expensive, right? Expensive as to compare to what the customer sees diesel are in a car today. But if a X5 is 4 to 5 million, the CX-5 diesel, like 2.3, 2.4 million, isn't really that expensive. But the value is really there. Now, to put that same diesel into, say, a Mazda 3 or CX-30 even makes it even worse. It will not reach anywhere near public acceptance of what the price should be. The product is very good, but where countries where regulation requires them, like for example, Thailand has a Mazda 2 with the 1.5 diesel engine. It works well because it qualifies for a special incentive program by the government if a product or vehicle or subcompact meets the requirement of emission level that no one can reach of 100 grams of CO2 per kilometers. It's almost impossible given the weight of the car, the safety equipment of the car, and plus have to run an average of 22 kilometers per liter. If you meet that standard, then they'll give you the incentive and then you can sell the product. So in that market of Thailand, you can buy a Mazda 2 with a green Skyactiv diesel engine. Like, I wish we have something like this. I wish I was living in Thailand and can buy something like this. But in our environment where it does not require it, putting a advanced diesel engine into a car like the Mazda 3 and the 630 and selling it at that value, it's not going to work. Nobody's going to buy it. This question comes up often, and the answer is no, and it's not a business answer. It's the category of SUV that comes out from a pickup truck platform are called PPV. The PPV categories it's been very successful. It's very profitable for companies to do it because you already have a ready platform of a truck platform, and making an SUV, it's what we call in engineering changing the top hats. The platform's the same, the mechanical's the same, put the top hats on and you get a 7-seater. But we have one already. We have a CX-8, a monocoque CX-8 that's perfectly designed to suit that market in a package that's safe, it's comfortable, quiet, and luxurious for not much more. So if you take a PPV today outside the market, the top of the line, and you price it against the CX-8, which is a much better product in every way, right? Because it is not the PPV. It's the same price. So we don't need a similar price product that is not close to the CX-8. So it doesn't work. The answer is no. Our next question. It's soon, by the way. It is soon. We have gone beyond the 3 years now. Last year, when the pandemic came upon us, we felt very strongly that it's time for us to extend the 3 years to 5 years. We have an insight that the customers now will keep their car longer. So in order for them to be more attracted to a Mazda product, it's to provide them 5 years, right? It's not just a competitive edge. There are a few good business reasons for that. We like to keep our relationship with the customer as long as possible. Right? You can't keep the customer forever. Studies and data will show that once it expires, the customers will not come back to the dealership. We like them to come back to the dealership. Number one, it's business. Number two, the longer they stay with us, the much higher chance of us retaining them after that 3 years or 5 years. So having 5 is very good. But the question is, how are we able to offer that 5 years without others? Others can, but they don't do it, right? It's fine if others are not doing it and we are doing it. We have a competitive advantage. It's a matter of the math. It does work. It worked for us really well. But I wouldn't encourage anybody else to do it. Absolutely. We just need to find the right partner, the right organizer, people to run it. Racing has always been in the Mazda blood, and whether it's online or offline. I like the offline, we like to track, but you have to be 18 and above, right? And sometimes you need to have a certain height. But online racing, it doesn't matter. All you need is some equipment, a great Wi-Fi, and you're there. So I would say absolutely. If somebody comes around and say, "Hey, Steve, let's do an online racing competition," I'll say, "Let's go." We've been developing something like this for some time now. In 2019, we announced a program called the Spec Series Miata. It's a global platform, by the way. Globally, Mazda runs several One Make series. Most of them run in Europe or Japan or the US. US being the biggest, I think. And then UK is very big too. So we like to emulate and mimic that platform. It will come. We were delayed by the pandemic, and hopefully next year we'll come back with a One Make series. First of all, management must be transparent. If you're not a transparent management or not transparent manager in terms of your policies, decision making, it's really hard to create trust. So trust is the catalyst and enabler of things that you want to do, right? Trust will make people be able to take risks. Trust helps people to do things more without any agenda. The second thing is supporting people are part of the management culture that you try to do. When people support people, your management tends to be leaner and more efficient. Leaner, more efficient working culture will create more rewarding culture, more financial rewarding culture, more psychological rewarding culture. And that's what we've been always pushing for, right? No organization is perfect, but you have to start with certain principles like work with each other, transparent, no politics, no taking sides, no talking behind somebody's back. If you have something to talk about, if you don't like somebody or the behavior, you should talk about it. Then you can foster better growth. So far, I think we're doing okay, but it's not perfect. Mazda has been in the Philippines. Some people may be surprised. I have something on my phone here. It says, "Celebrate driving in the Philippines since 1973. We've been here since 1973, but some still regard us as a young, budding automotive brand, which it's sometimes true because we've gone through some changes and sometimes they're in, sometimes they're not in. Me and my company, we've been here, we'll be celebrating our 10th anniversary in August, actually. Our 10th anniversary is in August. And, we've been trying to spread the news and the beliefs that Mazda is worth investing in. And to our delight, many of you, and I'm grateful, came forward and says, yeah, we'll adopt a Mazda. And it started this movement that you go to certain household, and there used to be a few brands in there. Right now, they're just called Mazda House. So many of you have converted to that. And I really believe that if you start driving a Mazda, you will forever be driving a Mazda, because you'll experience so much that your children will drive Mazda, your husband will want a Mazda, somebody would like to have Mazda, your relative will want that. Because once you step and drive, you say, like, this is a really fantastic vehicle. So it's a bit of a secret. And I think you should go out there and try this secret. You don't have to buy one. You just have to borrow the car from your friend or your dad, or go to the dealership and just try it. So this is not like a test drive message. This is like, try a Mazda in whatever form. And that's the reason why the MX-5 is so successful in the Philippines. We are the largest community of MX-5 in Asia outside Europe. And that's the reason why, because Philippines driver loves driving, and they love interaction that comes between the driver and the car, the drivers and other drivers. So we have a very large population of MX-5. So I like to say thank you. Most of all, thank you from the bottom of my heart to you for your patronage, for believing in us, and it motivates us to do better and better all the time. So thank you, Visor team.